All right, let's try again. Michael, are you there?
I am. How y'all doing?
All right, good, man. We were just playing the last lap with a contact between Carl Edwards and Kyle Busch, and you've been in a situation before racing with teammates. Did Carl cross the line, you think, or is that okay as long as you don't tear up the guy's car?
I just think it was good, hard, short track racing. Kyle was protecting his lead, and it looked like Carl had committed to hit the bottom of the racetrack in turn 3, and that's where Kyle elected to go. And there was some contact, but it was enough to where Kyle was able to hang on to his car, but Carl was able to get the job done. So I really think that that's just what we're looking for, is just guys racing hard and trying to figure out the best way to get to victory lane.
Michael, you're going to take off your tie and suit here in another couple of days and put on a helmet, but I want to get your viewpoint from watching the last 9 races here in 2016. We do have a new rules package with the downforce. Is it everything you expected it to be, or can we still go a step further?
I just think you have to continuously try to get better with the rules. And, I love where we're at with the lower downforce, but these teams are getting downforce back. So, sure, NASCAR is working hard with the teams. There's great communication between the leadership of NASCAR and the RTA and the driver council. They're all communicating really well. And I think, quite frankly, they'd like to see some more spoiler whacked off of it and some downforce taken away as the teams gain it back. We've got a lot of positive results from where the cars are now, but maybe it could be better if we go another step, and that's something that working together as a group they can figure out.
Michael, what's the limitation on the lack of downforce? Can we just take the spoiler off these cars? What's the actual limiting our downforce?
Well, technology would allow us to take the spoiler off completely and maybe a fuser under the back that creates downforce, but yet helps cars behind the lead car not have to deal with the wake. So, and if you look at the spoiler now compared to a year ago, it looks like it's already off. So that was a big step there. I've always been a fan of as the teams get it back, just set some dates in the middle of the summer and before the chase where maybe they take an eighth of an inch of spoiler off, a little bit of splitter, an eighth here, eighth there, just to keep the same amount of downforce on the cars as the team gains it back.
But, don't you think we're chatting with Fox Sports analyst Michael Waltrip, and Michael, don't you think that this is a lot of what everybody's been asking for? We're seeing guys slipping and sliding around now. We're seeing them saw on the wheel. We're seeing you can get up behind a guy and loosen him up. We're seeing that clean air on the nose is not the end-all, be-all of racing. I guess from a standpoint of until they get that downforce back, it's everything we could have hoped for, right?
Yeah, I think it's great, and I'm having fun talking about it on Sunday, and love Dale Jr.'s energy for slipping and sliding, and all the drivers are really into what we're doing right now. So we just continue watching these talented racers slide their cars around, put them in a position to win, and ultimately see who can race for this championship in 2016.
A year and a half ago in 2015, NASCAR did a entirely different revamp their officiating on pit road with the automated camera system. And one of those changes was the lack of monitoring of lug nuts. In 2016, it's become a hotbed subject. It's gotten a driver fined. And at Richmond, it came to the forefront again. Teams are only putting 3, 4, a lot less than the 5 lug nuts. You're going to put a helmet on at Talladega this weekend. How many lug nuts are going to be on your car?
Well, the rules at Talladega are such that you'll probably only get 2 tires and most likely be waiting on gas. So there really wouldn't be any reason, I don't think, at Talladega to take less than 5. But at the end of the race, if the teams, you got to understand, Joey, every day these teams practice putting on 4 lugs, and they know that 4 tight lugs will hold it.
Yep.
There was 3 times as many speeding penalties at Bristol than there were lug nut penalties. I'm not really into this debate.
Yeah.
I think it's just part of it. I understand a wheel can't come loose, and there's rules in place in the rule book that says if they do, you're going to be severely penalized.
Yep.
I think that the teams need to, the crew chief and the pit coach, they just need to tighten up their process a bit and make sure that they get the 4 on there tight, and that's enough to hold it. And we can move on to talking about things more interesting than nuts.
Well put. But now let's take it to another range within the same topic. What did you think about Tony Stewart getting fined? I mean, he mentioned it, and it started a whole nother firestorm this week, and then he gets fined. The Drivers' Council comes out and says, okay, Tony, we're going to pay that for you. And Denny Hamlin specifically said, whether or not you agree with what he said, we want him to be able to say it.
Yeah, I love Tony Stewart, and I love when he's open and passionate and honest about his feelings. I think everybody does. So I think it's really cool that the council stepped up, and then Tony said, "Well, I'm going to donate $35,000 if you guys do pay it." But
to autism awareness, yeah.
But you got to understand, maybe sometimes you speak words and you get fined for them, but it sets some things into motion that get the desired result that you were hoping for. So, maybe Tony's words will lead NASCAR to look at ensuring that they step up and make sure there's no way someone's going to have a wheel fall off.
Yeah.
I know I said earlier I'm tired of talking about the lug nuts, and that's true, but I don't want to be such a person that says don't worry about it, and then a tire comes off and someone gets hurt. I understand how serious that can be, but I just feel like that the teams and NASCAR together will come up with a solution. We saw way less issues at Richmond than we did at Bristol, and that was just 1 week of the teams tightening up their process a little bit, I believe.
Yeah, and then earlier Scott Miller came back and said we are going to address it, we are going to talk about it. There was a previously scheduled meeting at Talladega between NASCAR and the Drivers' Council, so maybe that'll be the next step in this direction.
Yeah,
I hope so, and we don't have to talk about it anymore.
Exactly right. Yeah, but we are talking with a two-time Daytona 500 winner. I love saying that because I was part of it over there at DEI with you. But now you get to strap a helmet on and you get to go to Talladega where you've had victories before. You have to be excited about going back to a place that you've seen victory lane in some pretty good equipment this weekend.
Yeah, I'm happy. It's one of the Michael Waltrip racing cars. Got a Toyota Racing Development engine. Those engines are as good as anything in the garage area. So our car's probably a couple of steps outdated compared to the people that race every week, but the draft can make up for that. So I figure I won't qualify great, but I can run good and have a good time out there. At Daytona in July, in the 500, I was passing guys that I talk about on TV, and that makes me really happy because when I go by them, I got to think that's something that they think, all right, well, at least he knows what he's doing out here. And that's something that's really special, and I hope to get out there and mix it up with them again this weekend, run up front.
Yeah, you mentioned your car may have been 2 or 3 generations off, but don't you feel like the guy wearing the helmet makes up for that?
You just have to put it in the right position and understand where where you have to be in order to make ground and make passes. And I think I have a pretty good grasp of that still, and I'm really excited about getting to race, and that makes that's a good mental place to be as you head to the weekend.
Talking with Michael Waltrip, FOX Sports Analyst. He'll be behind the wheel in a number 55 at Talladega in the Sprint Cup side this week. Michael, we've had a couple of short track races back-to-back, which are very physically draining, but give us an idea of how mentally draining that chess game is when you run a restrictor plate race like you will this weekend at Talladega.
Well, you just have to – I want to go up front. I want to challenge every lap this weekend just to see how close I can get to the lead. And when you drive like that, every second of the way, it's really intense, and you have to be prepared for it mentally, knowing what it's going to be like. If you're not surprised by what you see, sometimes you handle it better. And I understand how close it's going to be, and I understand the repercussions of a mistake. So I prepare mentally to attack and be that guy.
Do you have any other future thoughts about racing anymore in 2016 and beyond?
Yeah, I might run a little bit more. Heck, I don't know. It depends on what opportunity comes along. I'm still having fun, and I work out and stay in shape so that I do get the chance. I'm not a fat race car driver. I'm just an old race car driver.
Hey, Michael, let's shift gears one more time here for you before we let you go. A lot has been made of Clint Boyer's move to H. Scott Motorsports before he goes over to replace Tony Stewart when he retires after this season, but they have been struggling mightily. You know Clint as good as anyone out there. How frustrating is a situation like that where everybody wants the same thing, but they're not quite getting there?
Well, I think it's important to know, where you're at when you start. And they knew they were going to be a notch or two off, and they have been that, but also they had a great run at Bristol. Clint really stepped up and drove the heck out of that car. Got a couple laps down, got them back, and finished top 10. So he just has to keep pushing and keep working and know what lies ahead. He's going to have a great opportunity in 2016. So I think they'll have some good runs throughout the summer.
Hey, it had to have been pretty cool to catch a pass from Super Bowl champion quarterback Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
That was the best.
Yeah.
That was amazing. I woke up that morning and I sang with the Doobie Brothers and I caught a pass from Peyton Manning. I don't know how he could have a much better day.
He's still got some pretty good zip on it, doesn't he?
He does, but I'm nimble. I'm a big target. I'm fast. I went across the middle. Nobody can hang with me, and I hauled it in, and I think I'd have scored if there had been a goal line.
Fantastic. Hey, I forgot to ask you, who's going to be on the car with you this Sunday?
It's going to be Peak, my buddy Brian Emmerich, and all the folks at Peak Antifreeze, Peak Motor Oil. John Force's sponsor. I got to drive a drag car the other day against John Force. I got to ride in one, not drive. And we had a little race, and I love Force, and I love Brian Emmerich and Peak and Toyota and everybody that's given me this opportunity. Brian's the best, and I've gotten to do some fun things because of him, and now I'm going to get to race Talladega.
Fantastic. Can't wait to see it. Michael, thanks for your time. Look forward to seeing you in Talladega this weekend.